Round 2, what's going on?
What's up?
Welcome back.
Nice to see you again.
Things are a little bit different this time. It's good to see you like a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
Not as shaky.
Not as nervous.
And not because of coffee.
That's true.
You know, you said you're going to start a podcast. What happened? I thought you left all amped.
I chickened out.
You left it all amped up. You're like, I'm starting a podcast tomorrow. We're talking about coffee. And then nothing.
We'll have to do a coffee one eventually.
For sure. I have one of my best friends, he was a coffee guy, and he was like, they did a coffee TikTok for a while, or Instagram. It was just so hard to keep up.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Social media is a lot.
So since I've seen you, what has it been, a few months? 2 months?
Yeah. I think 3.
3?
Yeah.
We've seen each other in December?
November.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. What's new? What's going on?
Not much. Just the revving up the eco tours again for the year. So, which is why I'm here.
Nice pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth.
Very smooth.
We're going to have to get very subtle on why you're here. So why don't you tell people what that is?
Basically, I put together a bunch of trips around the world to different locations for different reasons, but mostly just cultural, gastronomy, sightseeing, things like that. That'll take you kind of off the beaten path, more so than your average tourism spots.
So not my 3-day booze cruise I'm going to go on?
Yeah, not
No?
those.
Dang it.
I don't specialize in booze cruises.
No? I kind of like them every once in a while.
They sound fun.
Yeah, so I remember last time you were here, you were talking about it, and it kind of slowly, like that's something you kind of did here and there. Yeah. What changed in the last 3 months for it to be like a big focus of you guys'?
Well, actually, I think last time when we were talking about the coffee shop, we kind of touched on the fact that I took the group to Colombia. Yeah. So it was a hit. This show is sponsored by Resilient Real Estate Group, powered by EXP. So, you're thinking about buying and selling soon? Yes, we know you probably know a realtor, your mom's best friend's cousin's neighbor who puts her face on the local shopping cart. But you know what? Our friends at Resilient Real Estate Group have helped hundreds of thousands of people sell houses over the years, and they definitely know what they're doing based on their 5-star review on Google and Zillow. So, it doesn't matter if you're looking to buy $1 million house or a fixer-upper, make sure the next time you're thinking about buying and selling real estate, you give our friends a call over at Resilient Real Estate Group. And now we're back to the show. And I had a bunch of people asking me for different places after that. So I decided to put more effort into it and put some more destinations on the map. It's all places that I've been to already, just kind of organizing it a bit differently for a different crowd. How are you liking it? Good. I love it. Yeah. So you're like a travel agency now for the coffee world. Essentially, yeah. Yeah, nice. Traveling's fun, and getting people outside of their comfort zones and to see things that they would have not normally been able to see if they went somewhere on their own. I like doing it. Yeah, it's crazy. Me and my girlfriend were doing this 7 like every 7 days go on a date, right? Yeah. And we went to the movies the other day, and then today's Tuesday, so Tuesday's our date night. And so I was like, "What do you want to do? You want to go like bowling?" She's like, like maybe we should start doing things we've never done before. I'm like, "Can we take?" I'm like, I don't want her to watch this podcast. Be like, we're going on a vacation. We're going on a trip. We're going on a full trip. Go out. You know what I mean? Like, you guys should come. It's fun. We should. When's your next one going? My next one right now is Ecuador. It's the end of next month. So we're doing the Cloud Forest in Ecuador. Oh, God. That one's going to be fun. And then in April, I have Yucatan in Mexico. So we're doing specifically the Mayan culture in that one. It's not so much coffee. And then in May, I have Costa Rica and Colombia back to back. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. So what does that like roughly cost someone? What was your last trip run someone? Depending on the destination, I know the Yucatan right now is $2,100, and that's everything from pickup to drop-off. $2,100. Yeah, except airfare. Wow, but that's a deal. Everything else is included. Yeah. All inclusive? Like, does that count as food? Meals, transportation, lodging. That's everything. A deal. Activities. Do you try to hook up flights too, so everyone kind of flies together? I try to, depending on who's in the group, but a lot of people want to book the flights themselves because everyone has credit card points they want to use and things like that. So I kind of leave that to every person. What was the first one you went on? The first trip I did? Or? No. The first one you took people? Mexico. In Yucatan, yeah. When was that? Last year? 8 years ago. 8? Holy crap. Dang. Been doing it a long time. 8, 9 years almost. Wow. Yeah. So that led to
Did that lead to the coffee shop?
Yeah, that led to the coffee shop initially.
Oh, got it.
The idea of the coffee shop came from all the trips.
Got it.
And then I kind of put the trips on the back burner because it's hard to travel when you're running a coffee shop.
And now you want to get back on the travel.
Yeah. Now I'm hopping on the other wagon.
Wow. Wow. So who's going to take over when you're gone at the coffee shop?
I'm just going to be gone like a week or two at a time. Yeah, they'll be fine.
I'm in the wrong business. I can't step out for a day.
Yeah.
The team falls apart. They don't know what to do. They're like, oh my God, I texted Adam an hour ago. I haven't heard back.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? Is that hard for you? Like, obviously I know how it is to own a business. Like the first trip you went on and you were like, because that's your
shop?
That's your baby.
Yeah.
That's your baby.
I will say, even though I leave, I don't really leave mentally.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone the second I have service. I'm checking in on them. I still do all the orders. I'm following up on everything. And they text me, like you said, every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So is it just you running the whole thing while you're down there?
The coffee shop?
No. The trip.
Oh, yeah. Usually me and whoever my local guide is on the ground, who longtime friends who do that for a living. They're
and then how do you get, where do you guys normally stay at? What kind of hotels?
Depends on the trip, but usually they're hotels or lodges.
Like locals? Like we're not looking at it.
No, we're like hotels.
Like nice places?
Yeah,
okay.
They're nice places.
Yeah.
Depending on, there's a couple trips where we'll go to more like remote rural areas and we kind of stay with people's families. But I definitely let people know beforehand and they wanted to sign up for that kind of trip.
Sign up that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Am I going to have to get malaria shots before I go down?
No, you do not need malaria shots.
You know, when I went to the Dominican, like back in 15, I was there for 4 months for work, and they're like, you need malaria pills. It was like the biggest thing ever, right? They're like, you have to take malaria pills.
They make you sick.
I wasn't a fan of them, right? But we get down there, and there was 4 of us, and 3 of us were like, yeah, you get malaria pills? We're like, yeah, I got them. And one guy's like, what are you talking about? We're like, you didn't get malaria pills? He's like, no. I'm like, you're done. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you get malaria, you're going to die, dude. He's like, give me some pills. I'm like, you can't throw them down like Tic Tacs. So we're there 4 months, like the whole time, I'm like, anytime you get a little bump, I'm like, that's malaria, dude. You're going to die. He was freaking out. But I don't even know why we got them. Every time I talk to someone, they're like, oh, you don't need those.
Yeah, you only need them if you go to like Asia and Africa.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I would have wasted 3 months of taking pills for no reason.
Yep.
So do you ever get nervous, like going on these trips? Like obviously you're going down for a week of people that you don't know. And obviously they're signing up for something they probably have never done before.
Yeah.
So is it ever nerve-wracking where you're like, these people are going to get down here and I can just tell is not going to be what they're expecting?
Slightly, but I've dealt with that enough already to where I'm pretty prepared. Okay. And I know how to deal with it.
So you're just great with people. Or do you try to filter them out before?
I'm good at reading people and I try to filter them before. I heavily prepare people for the trips.
Wow.
I think one of the girls said I was overly informative before we got there.
It's better to be more than less.
So I don't want people to get there and say, this isn't what I was expecting. I wasn't told this. So I've never gotten that kind of feedback.
Do you guys do a lot of hiking?
Depends on the trip, but yeah. And then sometimes what I do is certain activities are optional or I have 2 choices. One's a little more like relaxed and get to hang out near the lodge. And then we'll go take the other ones on a rigorous hike through the jungle to like a waterfall or depending on what kind of trip they want.
I have to ask this question because it's interesting. If it's $2,100 before flight, where's the profit at in that? Like, is it that the margin's that thin? I mean, you don't have to answer this question, but it's like
pretty thin.
Is the margins that thin where it's like, I mean, I know how much stuff costs. Like, there's no way you're not making $1,500 off each person.
No. Absolutely not. I'm getting my stuff covered in maybe some, which isn't a lot, but it's the first year that I'm focusing on doing this on my own. I think
you could charge more than 21.
Oh, I should.
Your boyfriend over here is like shaking his head like, yes, you can.
There's the other
Talk her into it, dude. Yeah. What number? You just start flashing me numbers. There's
other agencies I look at that are offering the same thing for almost double what I'm charging. But I kind of want to build a base this year just because I'm starting it on my own. So we'll see. Next year I'll definitely.
Do you bring beans back to the coffee shop afterwards or no?
No. Importing beans is actually a whole nother ball game. I can't just buy some and bring them back in a suitcase. Sometimes I'll bring them back if they're already roasted and packaged. I'll bring back some samples
because I guess you can't bring
farms.
stuff back because of like
there's like agriculture
laws. Thing. Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff.
That's why they always stop me when I come over the border. Like, do you have any fruit? No. Okay, keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they're already roasted and packaged, I'll bring back a few bags depending on where we went or if I thought the coffee was good.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's more of a couple thing? Do you get a lot of couples that go on this, or is it more
surprisingly no?
Really?
Individuals, yeah.
Wow.
Going by themselves, because it's a lot of people want to travel and they want to go alone, but they're scared because they don't know where to go or who to talk to or how to book things. So me taking
the headache
all the
of
questions out of it and the headache.
Well, I bet even just the language difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like we
they
went,
get a translator.
Like luckily my girlfriend speaks Spanish fluently, so it's like when we go places, like my parents are like, "Oh, we'll go to Mexico." I'm like, "Okay, we have to go with you," because my parents are very white. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
So like having her makes me feel so more comfortable because everything's like handled, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So taking that from people from having them worry about it is really helpful, and they feel a lot more comfortable. And a lot of the people that go on the trips end up becoming friends. I get them on repeat trips. They hang out afterwards.
I was going to say, are you starting to realize you're not running a coffee trip? You're more like a singles weekend? You know what I mean?
Not a singles weekend.
You're starting to get some couples, you know what I mean? I can't wait for the first marriage that comes from one of your trips.
I'll let you know when that happens.
Please do. We will be there. And then you might be standing up there. Maybe you'll even marry them. You know what I mean? Could you imagine that? You're the reason they met and the reason they're getting married.
I'm not marrying anyone.
Oh, okay. So your boyfriend's off the podcast on the other end because he says he's only here to take photos, but he did just go on your first one, I heard. Is that correct?
Not like a guided trip.
Yeah, but still
I took
down
him
there.
To Mexico, yeah.
What was the experience? Great? Awesome? Awesome. Is he going to start going on more of them?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, see? Yeah. I'm roping you into this. Oh, boy. So that's cool. So do you ever feel like for you, obviously this trip's made the coffee. Now you're going back to them. Is like, if you had to pick one, which one would it be?
I don't think I could pick one.
If you have to pick one, I'm sorry. Like it has to happen.
Had to,
like one or the other.
Probably the trips.
Oh, of course the trips. Who would pick the business? That's easy. Who would pass a free trip?
Still a lot of work, but
100% they are.
Because going on my own is much different than going and worrying about 8 people and if they like the food, if they're drinking enough water, if they're getting enough rest. If 2 people aren't getting along, it's a whole.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth it, and I've been lucky to where I've had great people. And like I said, because I'm so informative beforehand,
people probably bail out.
Yeah, I filter out a lot of the ones that would be problematic.
Yeah, I don't think you're having any bachelor parties going on in one of your things. Makes sense. So for you, like, you know, the pressure of picking all these things, is it like you said you have some locals down there? Do they really help you kind of guide you towards what you should grab or go and do?
Depends on the location. So the contacts that I have in South America, they do a lot of the logistics for me because I'm so far from there and I don't get to go as often.
So you just pop in, they have everything handled.
Yeah, so they kind of have it all ready to go. We already contracted everything. I have the days planned down in the minute and we already know what we're doing. Other destinations where I've been more on the ground and I'm comfortable doing things myself, I kind of take over. And it allows for a lot more flexibility, too, because depending on the weather in certain situations or if someone's flight got delayed, I kind of have to rearrange everything.
That's what I was wondering about the flight thing. And like, I bet that's a headache, too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if everyone's flying on different airlines, different times, do you say, like, hey, you have to be here by a certain time or we're leaving you?
Not we're leaving you, but you have to be here by a certain time. Yeah. So I give them a time that we're starting the day and tell them to be at the airport at least 3 to 4 hours before that time. So I just keep a spreadsheet with everyone's flights, and I usually land there 2 days prior or the day prior.
You do?
Yeah, and I make sure the transport's ready to go. I'm waiting at the gate the second they exit.
God,
and
that's so nice.
I keep a spreadsheet, and I just track everyone's flight.
That right there, I will say, I remember flying, first time I ever flew out of the country, you know, and I landed, I had no idea who was picking me up. I was just standing outside the airport waiting. For someone and like the guy didn't even have a sign. He just was like, I was the only white guy, so he just pointed at me and said gringo, and I just came. And then I got in the car and some other person got in the car that I didn't obviously know. And I'm like, am I in the right place? And then he like, we just like, if you've never been to a Latin country, there's just like no rules. Like they just like do whatever they want down there. Like he pulled over to a liquor store. He got out. She got out. I'm just in the back seat. He brought in alcohol. He's drinking and driving. I'm like, what are we doing? I never. Then I just get.
You?
I was in the Dominican. I got dropped off at a hotel and I didn't know anything. But the fear of landing. And not knowing who's picking you up or who's going to be there. I don't speak the language. Like that factor right there that you're waiting for them. Oh my God.
I'm standing right outside.
That is like game changer.
Yeah. They don't have to go through any of that.
So when you get done to the trips, do you reevaluate every trip when you get done with it? Kind of like where can you make it better? Or, what we missed out or
sometimes I'll change up the locations because there's always like new things, new lodges and stuff. But I don't like to take people unless I've been there before. So before I make changes, I make sure that I go on my own with some friends or the locals that I know. And we make sure we vet everything before we take people.
What made you get into traveling? Because this is obviously like going to places you've never been before. Did you used to go a lot earlier in life by yourself? Or like when like you just like, hey, I'm going to start traveling?
My dad took me out quite a lot, so I got to travel. And then when I was 15, I got a really cool opportunity. One of my teachers nominated me for a student ambassador program. So I went to China for a month.
What?
When I was 15. Yeah.
By yourself?
By myself, without my parents.
Of other you can't do that nowadays.
Yeah,
that's child services.
Yeah. So I went for 32 days, I think.
Did you just stay with a family there?
We went all over, but yeah, they were all homestays. We didn't stay at hotels. I think there was 2 nights we stayed at hotels. But they were all homestays, so they split us all up in a neighborhood, and we just were in someone's house. And it was very immersive. Like, no one knew Mandarin. We had a little translation sheet. And we went to a bunch of schools, worked with some kids. We did some sightseeing. But most of it was supposed to be working with kids that were our age.
Okay.
So every city we went to a school, and we were there most of the time.
Holy crap.
So that was awesome.
Where did you go to school?
I went in Santa Clarita, but I was the only one chosen from, I think there were 6 kids in LA County that were nominated. So it was kids from Ohio, Florida, Texas.
Was it like during the summertime?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was 40 of us total.
Wow.
That summer.
I think because your parents are from Mexico, right? No.
My dad's Mexican. My mom's from El Salvador.
El Salvador. Like, I just think down there, they just like, my parents are, from California, I guess, or whatever. And I think feel like they don't let us like breathe as much, right? Like my parents would have never let me go anywhere.
Well, they didn't want me to go.
Oh, no?
They said no.
Oh, really?
I had an aunt that was like, do you really want to go? Because every student had to pay their own way.
And so she fronted
didn't have the means.
Okay.
No, she told me if I wanted to go, we were going to raise the money. And I told her, yeah. So I sold pupusas, tamales, I washed cars, I cut lawns. I did everything I could for 6 months to pay for the trip.
God dang. I bet that trip was more expensive than your trips.
Way more expensive. Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine going by yourself with no one in your class. Like you didn't know any of the other students.
So they did training, I want to say 3 months before the trip.
Okay.
We met up every 2 weeks, just the ones in LA County.
Okay.
We didn't know the other students, but they had their own meetups. And everyone would kind of we started practicing the language. We started practicing just mannerisms, what's polite, what's
culture
impolite.
Over there, yeah.
The culture changes. And just activities to get to know each other. So at least when we went, everyone wasn't a stranger.
Yeah. Here's a bigger question. Did you get malaria pills?
I didn't.
Dang it, dude! I tell you, I don't know what they're trying to put. I tell you, he said even said if you go to China, you need malaria pills. You go to China.
Yeah, like Indonesia, Philippines, Asia, not mainland China.
Okay. Did you like it over there?
I did.
Have you gone back?
I haven't. I've been wanting to go back.
Sorry, dude. It's on the list now.
Yeah.
You get a passport, now you're traveling everywhere.
Yeah.
How are you handling all this travel? If you never had a passport before, this is all new for you.
It's all pretty new for me. I don't know. I just try to be supportive of her. I mean, she loves it, and it's all new experiences for me, and I like the experience.
Do you just go with the flow when you go down there?
Yeah, I let her lead the way.
Do you know any any Spanish, Latin, or anything?
I know a little bit of Spanish, and it's probably enough to get by, but she does most of the.
Dude,
most of the time.
I just they'll try to come talk to me, and I'm just like, come
Talk
on,
to her.
look at me. Like, I don't know what you're going to be saying. Like, I'm not going to even try. You know what I mean? It's not even, that's awesome. That is such a great experience that I feel like kids nowadays, like, they don't even go outside the house anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
I get a lot of young women, actually. They're 19, 20, 21. They've never been anywhere, and they don't know how because they've never done it.
It's scary.
So, yeah.
You know I can waste no time, because I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, because I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, because I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
Yeah.
This is their chance to be able to go. They're in a group. They feel a little better.
They need some TikTok
beforehand.
info.
Yeah.
They need some TikTok videos.
I try and introduce everyone beforehand. I create like a Google chat for everyone to talk to, ask questions. Because not everyone comes from the same city.
Yeah.
I have people flying in from other states too.
How do people find these?
Through my social media a lot of the times.
Okay.
But word of mouth, I've had a lot of customers and friends over the years that have come on a lot of my trips, and they recommend me to other people or to family members. So,
Did you, what's something that most people wouldn't expect going on one of these trips? Like, obviously you're gonna have see all these things, but there's something that you're like, you just wouldn't expect. It could be anything. It could be like spiritual, emotional. Just
I feel like it's a lot of spiritual and
Really?
emotional. Yeah. I don't think enough people have been taken out of their element in life, especially here. Or if they go on other kinds of traveling trips.
they stay in like the American style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You didn't actually go there, and you didn't actually
You just went
get
to a resort.
meet the people. Yeah.
I think someone's
Like
calling.
going to
I think someone's
Cancun.
calling me out right now.
Like going to Cancun.
True. Like, I've been
Yeah.
to Mexico. I only go to the resorts, and I literally land. We have a car service, drops us off at the resort. We don't leave the resort, and it drops it back off.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
That's what a lot of people, what their traveling experiences have been like.
And they still have great Wi-Fi.
And getting them out of that and getting them to actually meet and interact with the people in their territory and eat with them and learn and see how they make their food and just kind of spend time with the people outside of that situation, I think is very different.
Does it make you appreciate America or the U.S. when you come back? Or do you? Because I learned that.
Not really.
No, I remember when I was gone for 4 months. I remember flying into Atlanta airport and going to the food court and being like, I have so many options. I could literally eat anything here and I won't get sick. This is perfect.
Yeah, I mean certain things maybe, but for the most part, I think it does make me appreciate home, but it makes me understand more on the other end, like what those people live, like what they go through and how just like unappreciative people are.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it makes you appreciate, like, the things that you think about here, you go there and you're like they're not, it's crazy how simple life is there.
Yeah.
Because it's not, how do I want to say this, but you're not worrying about all the dumb stuff we worry about.
Exactly.
Like, what size TV, what shoes am I wearing, what clothes. It's like,
whenever there, if you just have shoes, it's
exactly.
fine.
Like, and if you don't have shoes, it's like, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, no one's
upset about it.
No one's like looking at you like, how could you have those old Nikes on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I almost think like, as much as sometimes people will be like, oh my God, they live such a hard life. They also live a lot easier lives.
It's an easier life.
In other aspects, like, everyone just seems happier. I don't know what that is. It's just kind of like,
probably the biggest feedback I get from the trips from most people is them saying they've never seen people so happy.
Because they just don't know anything else. And I think we get wrapped up into all this stuff here where you're like, I was talking to someone the other day. It's like, we just have to be, I know it happens to me, probably happens to you. Like, you're like, oh, why are we not up 15% this month? And, oh, but like, we only profited this much or whatever, you know? And it's hard because it's like, well, Do I have food on the table? Yes. Do I have a roof over my head? Yes. Like yeah, maybe I don't have the newest stuff or tons of money in the bank, but it's like, like all these things I have, like
exactly,
and never the worry of like, do we have food or not?
Yeah, are we gonna eat dinner tonight?
Are we gonna eat dinner tonight? Or like, am I gonna turn that shower as hot water, not just hot water coming out, is water gonna come out? You know, I think that's something that I really learned over there, because like we'd have to take cold showers, like we didn't have hot water. Yeah. So we'd have to like, you know, you turn the water on because the water in the pipes were warm, so you turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, just to get hot water. So that definitely made me appreciate it more, where I think, like you said, I think people need to go and learn that.
Yeah, and then they come back and they feel a lot more, I don't want to say like silly for worrying about the stuff that they used to worry about here, but it's all been put in a very different perspective, and now certain things don't bother them as much.
I think that's the biggest thing in America, if we want to go on a political side or whatever, but it's just like, they just, like, things are so good that they have to find stuff to complain about. Like, I heard someone tell me the other day, like, dude, you ever look at those Facebook comments and all this stuff? I'm like, I don't care.
Why is Facebook comments bothering you?
I'm like, why are you allowing a Facebook comment to bother you? I'm sorry. So for you, like, in the big scheme of things, like, how big do you want to get this? Or do you just like it kind of being like this little thing that you do? Or do you want to have, like, multiple guides, or like every 2 weeks you're going on another trip? Or
that'd be cool. Sounds like a lot of work, but if I had multiple guides and people to help me, maybe.
Is there a spot you don't know? Is there a spot you haven't gone to you want to go to?
I haven't been to Africa at all. The continent. Really? Yeah, that's like my last continent.
That you want to go to?
Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite place?
I really like Indonesia. I've been back there a lot, and I love it out there. It's a bit more rough. I don't know if I'd take the average person there. I definitely have to filter those people out. But I really like Indonesia. All the islands are so different. The people, the culture, even just religions, languages, everything changes from island to island. So it's just really diverse, and I like it out there. But as far as South America and Latin America, I really love Yucatan. I think it feels different than the rest of Mexico, and people don't expect that. One of the things I joke about with my friends down there, because they're Mayan, his family's Mayan, is that people here, when you watch the History Channel or any kind of read a textbook, they're like, oh, what happened to the Mayan people? They disappeared. And he's like, we're right here. It's like, no one went anywhere. Yeah. We're literally all still here. So going down there and realizing that they don't speak Spanish, they speak Mayan, it's their primary language. So even someone who would usually feel comfortable in Mexico, they feel very out of place when we go to Yucatan, because even they had to learn Spanish to communicate with us. So it's very just different culturally, and I like it out there. The ruins are awesome. The jungle's beautiful. The cenotes, everything you see on Instagram and things like that.
I love you say Instagram, not even like Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your trips, you wish they were longer? Because you say you go, normally it's a week.
So much
That's
to
what
see.
It just seems like, based on talking to you, it's like, how do you jam that all in 1 week?
I really jam it. I tell people they're going to be tired. I try to give them like nap breaks and make sure they get a decent amount of sleep, but they're going to be tired.
Really?
It's not a relaxing,
like sit
lay
by
the pool kind of trip. Yeah, they're definitely like jam-packed. I try to fit in as much as I can just in the time frame, because it's hard for people to take more than a week off. Yeah. So I try to squeeze it within that time. But eventually, there's been trips in the past where I've offered like longer ones, so I might go back to that.
Like 2 weeks?
Just for people that can take more time, I can do like 10, 14-day trips.
Yeah, we were trying to make a trip to New York for like 3 days, and I've been multiple times, and my girlfriend's never been. I'm like, that's not enough time. She's like, I was like, you'll literally, by the time you land, check into your hotel, whatever, that's 1 day. Yeah. And then the next day, and then you have 1 day, and the next day you're leaving. Like, it's just not enough. You have to go back trips. Like, you know what I mean? So for you, like, you have this going, you have the coffee going. Is there anything else that you're like, F it, let's do it? No, that's it? Yeah. You're maxed out? Yeah. Once I get a handle on these podcast, coffee podcast, that next?
Eventually. Multiple podcasts.
Are you vlogging these trips, or how do you?
No, my sister's been telling me for years that I should.
How's that possible? Like, just get a GoPro and then, like,
I try to. I'm getting a little better at it.
You're not great at it, no.
I definitely have some friends that go along and they do a lot of recording, and I kind of throw it all together afterwards.
I mean, if you could do one of those.
I know. I can do a podcast just on all that.
Exactly. I know, because your sister runs your social media, right?
Yeah, for the
That's why she's like, can I get some videos from it? Like, come on, help a brother out over here.
She's like, you've gone to the coolest places and done such cool things, and there's no evidence, no proof.
Are you not a photo person, a video person, even in your own life?
Photo, not video. Yeah, I do photography a little.
Yeah, but like for yourself, like when you go on trips, you take a lot of photos yourself, like personally?
No.
I don't either.
Of myself, no.
We have
everyone else.
We always, me and my girl will literally be like, we should probably take like one photo together on this vacation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just such an anti.
I'm really good at taking photos of everyone else. So like when I guide people on the trips, when we go to the ruin sites, I should charge for the photos I take.
Yeah.
They're glorious. I take tons of photos and videos of everyone because I don't want them to have to worry about being on their phone when they should be enjoying the place. So I kind of take that on for everyone. But depending on the trip too, sometimes I have a media guy that's there and he does some photos and videos of people too. And we send it all to them at the end of the trip.
That's a great idea. I think it's just so hard. I don't think it's interesting when people like think it's so easy to take photos and videos like on every trip. It's like, okay, I'm balancing the guide part of it.
Yeah.
And you want me to document all of it. And you want me to like...
It's a lot.
It's a lot. That's a lot of work right there. He's shaking his head over here for sure. And so for you, got coffee, got the trips. When's your next trip?
Ecuador's next month.
What day?
March 20th to 26th.
You have openings?
One spot.
What's the cost of that trip?
That one's $28.50.
$28.50.
Yeah, Ecuador's expensive.
Plus their flight.
Plus the flight.
What does the flight cost to go down there?
Probably like $500.
Do you fly first class when you fly?
Hell no. Economy. Back row.
Back row, middle seat.
Back row, yeah. Where it doesn't even recline.
Oh, right by the bathroom.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite spots. The good old Southwest flight down there.
Yeah.
No. You're not getting points off all this?
I should. I need to get an airline card.
Are you?
I know.
Okay, listen. I used to fly 30 times a year. This is what you need to do, okay? You get a credit card with points.
Yes.
Boom. Pick the same flight company every single time.
Yeah.
Because then what will happen is you could then trade your status with hotel status and then bump up because they're all connected. So if you have like super high status in American Airlines, right?
Yeah.
You can then go to a hotel. They'll match your status that you have at American Airlines. Then you get bumped up on the... You're missing the game, lady.
I really am.
Because I'm assuming you... What about the hotels down there? You getting points on those?
No, a lot of the lodges and stuff don't really have that. I guess when we land in the major cities and I book at like major hotels, I probably could. But all the other lodges are like pretty deep in.
And do you cover the cost and then do you upfront all the costs for these trips?
Yeah, for the most part, for holding the spots, I front all the costs. And then I collect deposits when people want to sign up for the trip. That's enough to reimburse me for what I fronted.
And if they back out, do they lose it?
The deposit's non-refundable.
How much is the deposit normally?
$500.
I got it.
Yeah. And then if they have to cancel, the rest of it I can refund up to a certain date. But for the most part, if they try to cancel like a few days prior, I can't really do much because we've already
booked everything.
Paid for everything.
Are you putting those all on credit cards and get points?
I try to.
I'm trying to work on it.
I know.
We gotta work on it. We're working on some things. You gotta play the game, girl.
I know.
You gotta play the game. You gotta get the money on the back end, right? You're not making that much money on the $2,100 spread. We gotta at least get you free upgrade. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be sitting in coach every time. Can you imagine if you're getting first class bump ups on your flights down there?
That'd be great. I could actually get some sleep.
Yeah, get some sleep on there. You're not sitting middle seat over there. All right, so you got what's the next one after that? So you have one next month.
Mexico's in April 12th to the 17th. And then I have Costa Rica May 2nd to 8th.
So you're doing like one a month.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
And then 2 in May.
2 in May?
Yeah. The 2nd to 8th is Costa Rica. And then I'm flying straight to Colombia for the next group.
Holy crap.
10 to 17.
How do you make the time?
I just put it on the calendar and commit to it.
And it's all, you're not paying any advertising money to market this?
No.
Straight word of mouth?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. You know, it's crazy how some people just have, do you think that people can grow into this or learn this skill set of like managing all these things, moving all these parts, multiple businesses or whatever? Or do you think it's like genetic?
Maybe they could learn it, but I've been pretty savvy since I was younger.
I think it's genetics. I think like some people have it.
It's hard to teach.
Some people have that like quickness, like focus,
Yeah.
but I'm really bad at like, I'll just like ADHD, like go, and then like the basic things, I'm like, oh, someone will handle that.
I do everything.
You do everything.
Yeah.
Are you super like anal? Like you don't want to give up control?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I need to work on that too.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, everyone handle everything. Like my girl works here now. She like, can you look at this logo? I'm like, no. She's like, why not? It'll take 30 seconds. I'm like, I agree. But if I take 30 seconds every single day, 10 times a day,
yeah.
I was like, just figure it out. I was like, it's not a big enough decision.
I wish I could do that.
No?
I double check everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
I
my.
do.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God.
I go back. I'm like,
I half check everything.
you know those people that say that they get mad if someone offers to clean, but then it's not clean if they didn't do it?
That's you.
Me.
You're like,
Yeah.
I was like when I was a kid, my mom would yell at us to do the dishes, but then yell at us. So we'd do the dishes and then she would
did 'em
yell
wrong.
at us by not putting the dishes in the dishwasher correctly because we wasted too much space. And if we change it around, we could put more in the dishwasher. And I
Yeah.
said, do it yourself then. You're a triple checker.
I triple check everything.
Wow. Have you always
Maybe
been
that's
like,
why I'm so good at the trips, though. 'Cause
Oh,
I can
100%.
organize like every detail. A lot of people can't do that.
I
It's
wouldn't be
really
able to.
overwhelming. Yeah.
I would be able to get people there and then I'd pass them off to you.
Yeah, and I'd
Yeah.
handle everything.
Like people ask me about like the videos and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't ever rewatch anything. They're like, you don't approve any. I'm like, listen, if they ever cost me something where I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the most trouble we're gonna get in? I'm not gonna say anything stupid,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't check any videos. I
Yeah.
never watch any podcasts again. I don't
Before
look at
they air it.
I don't even watch them after it's aired. I don't even.
just-
It's just whatever. It's
You were
out.
already there, so.
We've already moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Wow, triple checker. Interesting.
Another thing I'm going to work on.
That's another thing you're working on.
Yeah.
Do you want to like do anything else you want to throw on the podcast? So like in a year we could say like, are you still triple checking? You're like, no, I'm only double checking now.
Which would be an improvement.
Yeah. Does that tire you out? I think for
Yeah.
me, I think it frustrates me because like I think something I struggle with is like in my head, I'm thinking how it should be done, and sometimes I don't know the best ability to explain it in words to my staff or whatever, and then I'm like, how did you not figure that out? It's obvious. Like, do you have that struggle?
No, because I explain it very
So
thoroughly.
I'm like, how did we not get this? Like,
Yeah.
oh, interesting. Wow.
I've tried to train certain people. I'm pretty thorough, though. I'm good at explaining certain things.
Are you good at writing up like, what's not P&Ls? What is it called when you have like booklets
Like
of
an
like?
SOP?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really good at it.
I am the
Well,
worst.
I had to write those for every job or everything I've ever done.
That I cannot, like-
step-by-step handbooks. Drives me nuts.
That would drive.
I'm really good at it.
I am so bad at that. Like I'm like, just go do it. I don't care how it gets done.
So I used to, when I would type it up, I used to not be thorough enough where I thought they had the common sense
Mm-hmm.
to fill in the blanks, but it doesn't work.
I think that is something that you will realize the more you deal with people is like common sense. Like the moment you think people have it, it costs
It's not
you.
common.
It's not. It's really. It's interesting why we call it common sense, and but it's not common. Like a lot of people don't have it.
Yeah.
The more and more we're like, how did this not get done right? Like,
Well, I think
That's
we were
your job.
talking last time that just owning a business is different than being an employee.
100%.
Like your brain just switches.
it's a different beast.
Yeah,
Do you turn it off ever?
I don't think I can.
No.
I've tried.
You don't
I'm
check.
getting better at
You don't
it.
check out at all.
I'm getting better at putting the phone down and not checking it.
I'm trying to take Sundays off. I'm trying to.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to take all
That's-
day Sunday off.
That's bold.
It's been adventurous. Like
Yeah.
I'll like go check. I'm trying to get to the point where it's okay. Like last night, a big client texted me last night at 8:30 at night, and like maybe a year ago, he said, "Can you call me?" I would have called him, and I just wrote him like, "Honestly, dude, I'm in bed. Like I'm getting ready for bed. Like
Yeah.
I'll call you tomorrow." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." Like I'm starting to learn like.
Business hours.
Yeah, business hours, and like if you say no, I'll call you back tomorrow. Like most people are gonna be on. And I call him today, and he's like, "Hey, so sorry for the late text. I just was thinking about it." He
Yeah.
runs his own business. He's a tax guy, so it's tax season. He's like, I just was getting home. He's like, I wasn't really expecting you to like call me.
Answer.
Yeah. So, wow. Trying to put your phone down. Do you have two phones?
I used to.
You gotta get the 2 phone game. I love 2 phones.
No, I'm still with the 1 phone. I used to have the 2, but it was just a lot.
I like putting
business, one to the side. And,
business pleasure. Like when we go on date night, my business will stay in the car.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get back to that.
The 2 phone numbers. How does that work down there when you guys are like? Does anyone have cell service down there or like?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, most of the places have cell service, and I walk people through again before we go.
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
I tell them whether they should get data plans with their carrier if they want to pay for it, or they could get a SIM card when we're there for some data. Or a lot of the places that we stay at, the lodges, they have Wi-Fi in the main
I think
areas.
Everyone has Wi-Fi now.
Yeah, so connecting's pretty easy.
What's the biggest hiccup that you had to come across on one of these?
Biggest hiccup actually is...
Have you ever lost anyone?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Never lost anyone. No one's ever gotten hurt, lost, nothing like that.
Has anyone not wanted to leave? They're like, you know what? I like it here better. I want to stay.
Almost stay.
Really?
I had someone tell me to cancel their flight. And
no way.
Staying. I was like, you are not staying. We need to go.
What city? Where was this at?
We were in the middle of the Amazon jungle in Ecuador.
And they just had like a moment where they're like, I'm home.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what happened. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
He almost stayed. Yeah.
How crazy it would be to have the ability to just go somewhere and then never come back and just... Could you imagine if you just went down and you're like, I'm staying here?
I mean, I have a coffee shop to run.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Could you imagine to be in a position? How free is that? Where you're like, I'm just going to stay and live in the jungle.
Well, he came to that realization. He was just like, what would really happen
if I didn't
go back? They'd empty my apartment. I wouldn't need my credit. I wouldn't need my cards. Like, I don't care. I'm just going to stay here.
I think that sounds great for like 2.5 more days. You know what I mean? and then life hits you down there and the struggles you have down there. And you're like, what do you mean there's no food? Like, you have to go kill it.
We were very, very remote. We were in Yasuni National Park in Ecuador.
Did you guys like camp out?
No, we were at a lodge. It was a research lodge, though, because it's so deep in the jungle. It's only for students or researchers that go there. So we had to get a special permit to stay there.
Okay.
But we were only like a half a day's boat ride from the uncontacted tribes that live there. We were...
Don't they kill people?
Yeah. Can't go downriver.
Yeah, because they'll kill you.
Well, yeah, they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that there are still places in this world that are untouched by society? Like... They don't know anything. They don't even have like technology.
Yeah.
I want to know how many days I would last.
What do you mean?
Like if they dropped you in a tribe like that, how many days would you last?
Oh, they'd just kill you.
Not if they say they weren't going to kill you. They brought you in, right? How many days do you think you could last with no power, no nothing?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah, personally you.
Oh, I'd be fine.
I would be done.
I'd be fine.
2 days.
2.5 days?
No.
Yeah. The first time I had to go to the bathroom outside, I'd be like, all right, pull the boat up. I'm leaving.
No, I'd be fine.
Really?
I've been in really rough situations.
Damn.
Yeah. Not with people. When I go
by
alone.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. You're a backpacker then? Do you like hiking and then just camping somewhere? Mm-hmm.
Used to do that a lot.
You know, it doesn't happen often. I've done many podcasts where I knew a girl could out-squat me in this podcast. Now I'm doing a podcast with a girl that I know would live longer in the wild than me. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? Like they'd be like what was that show called? Naked and Afraid?
Everyone always told me
I would literally be like, I show up and be like, can I leave now? Like, how does this work? Like,
where's the exit button?
What's the ranking on that? Wasn't it like 1 through 10 or something, or 1 through 100?
I think so, but sometimes they would. One of the people would bail out early, so the other one had to finish the 30 days or whatever on their own.
This is what would happen. We'd walk up, you would see me, be like, "Well, he's effed. Like he's going home." I'd be like, "Bye-bye.
Bye. I'll do this alone."
I'll do this alone." Yeah. You're gonna be dead weight.
I had an old coworker who did that show. She did
Really?
the Panama. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a volunteer at a place I used to work at. She did the Panama one, and the mail didn't make it a week, and she made it the 30 days. She did the last 3 weeks.
Even think about that. Like I couldn't even go on one of those. Like Survivor is what? Like Survivor was like a month. No,
I think
2 months.
I don't even remember.
I couldn't. How do you even dip out of your life for 2 months to be on a TV show like that?
I don't know.
You have nothing to do. I'm gonna be.
They clearly don't own a real estate company.
Clearly, they don't have to do 104 podcasts in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, well, I'm super pumped. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I might go on one of these this year.
You should.
Let's go on make me go on the easiest one, right?
Costa Rica.
Where there's like some time for me to chill. You know what I mean? Have a few cocktails.
Costa Rica.
I don't want to, sweat too much. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm training for a marathon.
You're in the tropics.
I mean, I'm training for a marathon right now, so I'm not lazy, but, kind of want to hang out for a little bit. Get a little vacay. So that one's the easiest one to go on.
Costa Rica for sure.
Dang. It sounds awesome.
It's fun. We go to Arenal, to the volcano. We do rafting, zip lining, coffee tour, chocolate tour.
Which one's this? When's this?
Riverboat,
when
May 2nd to 8th.
How much is that one?
6 days.
About
That
how
one's 25.
I had to make it 5 because I got to double down.
Yeah.
And then 2 flights. So we're like 8 G's.
But you have credit card points for your flights.
That is true. And you'll be jealous when I get bumped to first class and you're sitting in the back middle seat.
Of the plane.
Yeah. And I'm going to be sitting in first class like, another bottle, please. Thank you. And you're going to be like walking past like, oh, where's your seat, ma'am? All the way to the back next to the urinal. Perfect. You know what I mean? Hey, but the back's always great. Southwest, that's the best way to sit, especially on an empty flight. Because then we've been there a few times and they're like, oh, you guys want any cocktails? We're the last shift. They just sling them back there.
Yeah.
We've had it where like there's no one on the flight. They're just sitting with us, hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 30 people on the plane. So, do you have any people freak out on the plane?
No, because I don't fly with people.
Oh, smart move.
I get them after they freak out.
Smart move.
No, most of the people they've at least been on a plane and have traveled enough. So I don't think it's been anyone's first flight. I know I took one of my friends a couple years ago. It was the first time she had ever been on a plane, and we went to Indonesia. So total, it was going to be like 24 hours of flying.
Really?
And it was the first time she had ever stepped foot
How
on
do
a
you
plane.
handle that? Fly that long?
Do
you walk around a lot?
Yeah, the seats are comfortable, and I honestly don't sleep much when I'm home, so I take advantage of those flights.
I'll tell you what, I can sleep on a plane before we even take off, obviously.
Yeah,
before we even back out. There was one time we got delayed. I fell asleep and we got delayed and I didn't realize it. And I woke up and I checked my watch. It was like an hour and a half later. And then we start backing out. I thought it was the connection. I started freaking out. I'm like, hold on,
wait.
I'm supposed to get off. Oh, and I'm like looking around and luckily I see my buddy. I'm like, what? He goes, we've been delayed this whole time. I'm like, oh, thank God. I thought I missed my connection.
Great, I could go back to sleep.
Yeah, I went right back to sleep. Didn't even.
I fell asleep once. It was on the way back from one of the Indonesia trips where we had hosted people for, I think, like almost 2 weeks. So it was pretty beat. And I went from Indonesia to Taiwan, but Taiwan to LAX was going to be like 14 hours. Mm-hmm. And I fell asleep before takeoff. And I woke up when we were descending at LAX.
You take drugs or no?
No. I just fell asleep.
Wow.
No one woke me up for water, food, snacks.
They didn't even. You could have been
no
dead.
No one cared.
They're like they just like poked you, and you're like, okay.
I woke up hungry, thirsty, cranky.
Yeah.
Could not believe I slept that long.
That's crazy. So, what's the best way that people get a hold of you?
Instagram. I have Mundial_tours is the page, and I'm working on the website, so that's coming soon. And yeah.
For someone who sucks at social media, now you have 2.
Yeah, I have 3, 4. I think I have 4 now.
4?
Yeah.
Is that why you brought him to take some photos so you could post something?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hopefully they're good.
Oh.
She's one before I came in. She better be good.
Yeah. Thing, dude. Well, she's gonna triple check you, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
She's gonna triple check you, and then that it's gonna happen, dude. So, I think this is a really cool idea. honestly. And it's always so crazy. That's why we do the podcast. I say this almost every time, but it's so interesting to see the things that people have no idea that people are doing that are out there. You know what I mean? It's like so crazy to think like this is an option that like someone like you, I don't know. I just think that it's so cool like to think like, I want to take people on these trips. That's what I'm going to start doing. Or I'm going to open a coffee shop. That's what I'm going to start doing. Like, it's just so... The one thing I do love, anyone who sits across from me, is just the biggest thing I love is that people who take action.
Yeah. Because
it's so funny. I think the biggest mistake people make is that they all think it's so freaking easy to do all these things. And then I always go like, well, why aren't you doing it? Well, you know, that it's hard. It's super freaking hard. So it's like just awesome to see people like, I want this, and you take action to do it. Because I think that, honestly, I think that's the number one trait for successful people. Like,
thank you.
You go, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you'll have a handbook, right? Like, you know, I'll just figure it out. Guideline. You'll have like a full handbook that you're like passing out to everyone. But I would be like, all right, where are we going? Show up. Let's do this. But just the ability just to go do and to do something that no one else has done. And to be the first, it's so scary. And there's so many what ifs. And there's so many things you could say like, well, I would love to do this, but I would love to take people on trips, but I would love to fly here, but I would love to open a coffee shop, but you know, to get past that but thing it's such a short word, but it stops so many people.
It is. Yeah.
It is crazy. So hats off to you.
Thank you.
By doing something even crazier than a coffee shop. Because I've had a lot of coffee people in here.
That was crazy enough.
100. Honestly, it's probably worse.
I think so.
I think the coffee shop might be worse.
People come in there every day and they're like, oh, when are you opening another location? And I just look at them like a deer in headlights.
I don't even know. Like, who would?
I'm like, what day is it?
Why would I want to do that? Because the hard part is like, I don't care who you are. Like, if you're your place, so like Molino's next door, they opened one in Redlands. I went there a lot because I liked the owner and she was there all the time. She knew me. She knew my grandfather. It was always great catching up with her.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where like I was a local. So like I wouldn't even wait in line. Like I drank the same black coffee every time. She would just grab it for me.
Yeah.
And now that she's gone, I have to wait in line. I don't want to go in there. But that feeling of like that local vibe is now gone.
I get that a lot at my place, like because I'm there and my partner who owns it with me, she's there, my sister's there, people, they know our names. They know it's ours. I know their names. I have their drink ready when I see them standing in the line, and I feel like I can't be everywhere. I can't clone myself.
And then if you leave,
it's not the same experience.
It's not the same anymore. And it sucks because you can't expect your employees to make $15 an hour to have the same passion and to learn people's names, and because they don't process it. And then you have turnover, you know, so then before you know, you're like, I don't even know who's even here now. And I went from knowing the owner and them knowing me and handing my coffee to me and to now it's just basically Starbucks.
Exactly.
That's I think the biggest difference between like local coffee shops and non is not the coffee's a little bit different for sure, but it's definitely the people that own it that are doing it, you know.
Definitely had to even fine tune some things with the way we were doing it. Like I slashed down the hours. We close at 3 now. I think last time
spread
I came here,
you guys were like
6 or 7.
Well, shoot, we had to do the podcast at like 9:30 at night because you had
it was late.
It was late. We had a late. So what made you cut it down?
I was exhausted.
Too many hours?
Pulled too straight. Close every day.
Did you see a big income between 3 and 6?
No.
So you're like, we're just wasting money anyways.
We were occasionally busy, but most of
not
the time,
to the point to stay open.
We were just standing there. And right before closing, we'd have like a little handful of people, but it wasn't enough to make up for the 4-hour gap.
Yeah.
That there wasn't a lot going on.
I think that's the thing that business owners have to deal with is like being okay to lose a little, because in the long run it'll make more.
I definitely saw like a huge change in our power bill. I didn't realize how
much money. Because you guys aren't a triple net lease, obviously, probably not.
Yeah. So
and that adds up.
Yeah.
And then you're probably not even making any money.
The power bill, the staff hours for staying that late.
And just the mindset of getting that break. Like for you, it's like 3 o'clock done.
Being able
to
even now when I stay in clean, I leave at 4 and I go outside and there's still daylight.
Oh my
crazy.
God, I know, right?
I used to be there when it was dark and leave when it was dark.
Dude, that's why I hate wintertime.
Yeah.
I hate, like, I'll leave here I'm like a 7:30 to 6:30 guy here, you know?
Yeah.
I leave, it's like pitch black. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. I have no idea what time it was when I left. I feel like, and then it's like the summertime, it's crazy. It's like you get out at 6:30, it's still super bright outside. You're like, oh, sweet. Like, I got plenty of the day left, you know?
So being able to, like, be home by 4 now is insane. I can actually make dinner and
so that's the question is, what are you filling that time with now? Just R&R?
Probably the trips.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm bored, so let's do this.
Yeah, running that page.
She's going to DM me like in a month and be like, hey, so you know I closed the coffee shop at 3? Well, I started another business because I was bored between 3:30 and 4:30.
Yeah,
so I'm going to come back on the podcast so I can talk about my next business I have.
That's essentially where I'm at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think
brain
motivates
just
you?
fills it in.
What do you think motivates you? I'm asking
There's
hard
just
questions now.
That is a hard question. I think you asked me that last time.
I know you didn't have an answer for me.
I still don't have an answer for you.
But you don't struggle with motivation, right?
No.
You know, that's something I like. People ask me like, how do you go to work every day? I'm like, I don't even think twice about it.
No,
I literally just like
get
in the car and leave at 6:45. Like, there's no like, oh, I don't want to go today or whatever.
Yeah. I don't get that. I really like what I do. As much as tired as I am, as rough as some days are, and even if I feel exhausted or drained, like, I'll be there and give it 100%.
Do you like what you do, or do you like progression of things? I'm asking, dude.
That's
stomping
really
her.
Maybe the progression.
For me, it's progression. Like, for me, it's if we're just moving forward, it doesn't matter what that forward is. It makes me feel good.
Well, I will say I've always been a really hard worker, but like 10 years ago, so I was working at a sanctuary. It was like a zoo. I used to be a zookeeper.
Okay.
And then I went from there, and through my connections there and getting to know people and them seeing how hard I worked, I ended up being a private keeper for a collection for some big celebrities in Malibu that I never would have gotten if I didn't work so hard at the other job.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went to run a different organization. I ran it for a long time. From there, I ran a different organization.
So it's not coffee.
So, yeah.
It's a progression of...
different, but it's just meeting people and putting in 150% into what I do gets me to the next thing and gets the doors open. Whereas I feel like if I would have shown up and done my you'd
still be at the same place. You'd still be a zookeeper.
I'd clock in, clock out, and not care.
Yeah.
Then you don't get to that next spot.
I just don't know. It's so funny. Anytime I'm like at home trying to like rest up, right? I'm like an hour into it, I'm like, okay, like what are we gonna go do?
I think
like,
of like 10
I'll come to the office. Like I'm like I just like people are always like, when are you gonna take a break? I'm like, I need like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like give me a solid hour where no one texts me.
Yeah.
And I can just sit on my phone and play games or whatever.
But
like I'm good.
Even if I do that, I think of an idea, or I'll be driving around trying to relax somewhere, and I'm like, you know what would make a really great business? And I think of something else.
You don't have any relaxing, nothing that checks you out?
My brain just never turns off.
I think for me, it's windows down, sunroof open, music playing. For me, that's like quiet time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's when I just check out. Like, if it's a great weather day, roll all the windows down, just play a little music.
I will say driving up the mountain, because I think last time I came, I told you I had moved up to like near Big Bear.
Yes.
Like Running Springs area. So driving up the mountain is super relaxing.
So that just chills you out.
I love that, yeah.
You haven't got tired of that drive yet?
No.
Yeah?
Because at the time that I come down or go back up, there's
no
not
traffic.
a lot going on. Yeah.
Have you got stuck yet? Are you going to get stuck this weekend?
The snow's supposed to be crazy this week.
This is supposed to be like one of the coldest winters we've seen in years.
Yeah. Everyone up there is like getting ready to get hunker down.
Are you going to just stay down here?
Yeah, I'm just going to stay down here.
Oh, okay.
I can't do the back and forth. Because digging out the car for an hour in the morning is not fun. When I have to open the coffee shop at 6.
Yeah, and it's 4:30 and it's dark.
Shoveling snow, yeah.
I mean, you were a zookeeper, but I assume there might be something that's the limit. You know what I mean? I don't know if I could handle that.
It's not that bad, but
I bet the summer's gonna be great.
Beautiful.
The summer's gonna be great up there.
I love it up there. Yeah. It was nice when it was 100 degrees down here, and I'd go up the hill and it was 75.
Yeah.
Oh. Everyone up there was complaining that it's so hot when it hit 80.
Yeah.
But down here we were hitting like 110.
Are you at a point yet where you're like up there where like when we go up there, you know, Riverside people, whatever, you're like a local up there. You're like, God dang it, these freaking tourists, these out of towners, get out of here.
Yeah.
Go away. Like, are you at that point now?
Yeah.
Where you used to be an out of towner and now you're snooty up there?
When people are driving up the hill, it drives me nuts.
Slow or fast?
Slow.
Oh. You're so that person who's on my ass.
Yeah.
Listen, I've done this twice. Like, let me just drive and enjoy the moment.
Out of towners are funny. Or it'll not be that cold and someone's up there with like a full on
snow jacket and you're like
boots. I'm like, it's not that cold.
Wow. Listen, what kind of car do you drive?
A Subaru.
Okay, I gotta make sure when there's a Subaru behind me,
everyone drives a Subaru up there.
I know, damn it. That's true. I know. I'm gonna drive really, really slow. I'm gonna go really, really slow, put my hazards on. I don't understand the people that pull off to the side and take photos. Like, I guess maybe I'm not a photo guy, but it's like
out of towners.
Have you not seen this before?
Out of towners haven't.
I
They're
guess.
the ones that pull over. Or when there's a really pretty sunset, which happens every day on the drive up, they all pull over and they're all recording.
It's like the people that videotape fireworks. Nothing to me makes less sense than recording fireworks. Name me one time you've gone back and watched those fireworks in your phone. Name me once. Never have you gone back and watched fireworks in your phone.
Probably true.
Like, you're just like, it's just fireworks. You've seen them before.
Yeah.
All right, you want to add? Anything you want to add before we end this? Shoot, we're an hour in. It's time to get off this thing. We gotta go.
Already?
Yeah, see, it's easy.
Jeez.
See, you should start a podcast. Do you have anything to add? Offsite? Anything you got?
Anything?
Any questions you want me to ask her?
Questions? Does she love me or the dogs more?
What kind of dogs do you guys have?
I have bullies.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. How many?
3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are they obviously indoors?
Yeah.
They sleep in bed with you?
Very indoor.
They sleep in bed with you?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
It gets, I got scratches on my face.
Oh, dude. Literally, I have 2 corgis. If they are not in bed with me, we don't go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, get into bed.
Same.
Like, I don't know what it is. They've always slept in bed with me.
Yeah.
I got to know they're there, you know?
If I wake up and one of them's not there, I'm like, where'd they go?
I get freaked out, man.
Yeah.
I get scared. Wow. How old are they?
The oldest girl's 9.
Oh.
And one of my boys is 5, and the other one's like 3.
You gonna get another one?
Yeah. No.
3's max?
3's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot of dogs.
The guy who I bought my second dog from, he'll like every time they get a new litter, he'll send me a photo or video. And for like one split second, I'm like, baby. And then I remember like potty training a puppy and like dealing with him chewing through my table and my couch and my TV remote.
Everything in your home.
Like literally, he would bounce the cage over to the couch and then he ate the whole back of the couch. And then the coffee table, literally, it was like a beaver in my house. Yeah. He literally, I had that table for years. People are like, when are you going to get rid of it? I'm like, until it breaks, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to buy a new one. He tore my house up, man. And in that moment, I'm like, no, I'm good. How do you have time for 3 dogs and then run 2 businesses?
I know. My dad and my sister help a lot with the dogs. They're never alone. Someone's always there with them. They're quite spoiled.
When they are by themselves too long, I rush home. I feel bad for them. I have to get home.
I don't think my dogs are ever alone.
I'll tell you,
one of us is always there with them.
We're going to go to our next office. Is going to be, well, not this office, but the next office after this place is going to be a warehouse. They'll just come to the office every day with me.
That'd be great.
We're going to have a fantasy factory in Riverside. I swear, that's the goal.
Is that the one that you said you were going to do the different, you told me
the different rooms for people that do podcasts and stuff. And there's going to be like a golf simulator, a gym, a cold plunge, a sauna, a barber, massage area.
A bar?
100%. Like, I've had 3 breweries on. I'll be like, yo, send me some booze. Like, I want to have a place where I might even charge memberships where like people just want to come and hang out, right? Yeah. Like, I want to come to a place every day and never have to leave. Like, I have food there. I can get my haircut there. I can work out there. I can get a massage there. It's like one under one roof. Coffee parties.
In a warehouse.
I'll
set up a coffee bar in there.
Yeah, well, warehouses are like cool now. It's like trendy to have a warehouse.
True.
It's like the cool thing that no one cares. No one's like, oh, you're going to go to a warehouse? Like, no. In Daytona Beach, Florida, I was there one time, and they had these massive storage units that people turned into like man caves.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be so cool. Like, everyone would just like open them up, and it'd be like man cave, and then everyone would have like their toys, and they would just like mess around all night. So.
Now that you say that, there's a brewery I just went to, and they were in an abandoned warehouse.
Which brewery?
It was in LA.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
It's cool. It's trendy.
It was super trendy, and the neighborhood was awful.
Everyone loved it. No one cares.
Yeah.
It's the worse, the better. You know what I mean? The worse the area is, the cooler you are. There's street cred to that. So,
True.
maybe not this year, but I'll go on one of your trips.
Okay.
Maybe not this year. Things are crazy right now. But I will be on. Hold me to that. But give me the first year rate, not the next year rate. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
I won't listen to you about
no, yeah, don't
increasing the
keep your prices low until I go, and then you can bump them up.
All right.
Go follow her. If you need coffee in Riverside, go hit them up. Any new brews right now? Anything feeling
Got
great?
some 2 really good ones today.
What do you guys got?
New. They're from Boombuna. It's an African roaster. One of them's a really floral, fruity Ethiopia. It's like
fruity?
next level. It's really good. And then there's another one that was aged in bourbon barrels. That's really
That's
good.
a good one? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you test all the coffees?
I do.
Oh, okay. I like my stuff dark.
I know.
Dark as can be. Like, the darker the better. Fruity? Nah.
You need to expand your palate.
Listen, I don't drink Starbucks anymore, so that's good.
That's good.
You know.
You're a step in the right direction.
Listen, let's work on that, and then we'll work on me maybe going on an easy trip, and then we'll slowly be up, and then
I think if you go on one of the trips and go to like a coffee farm and see everything from beginning to end, you'll appreciate the other roasts a little.
I agree. Well, we'll get there one day.
All right.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Great job like always. Go support small businesses. Go support coffee trips. Make sure you go follow her on all of her social medias. And until next time, guys, peace.